was when you were like, "That's my wife." On Twitter, that made me laugh.
That's my wife.
Oh my god.
Wife.
I love that.
Like what difference does it make?
Like, no, it was just John Mulaney delivers it.
It was a John
so
Mulaney
well.
reference. It was. Perfect.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just delivers it so well. It's hard. It's hard to resist.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're here to talk about chicken sandwiches.
Chicken sandwich.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get this out of the way. You guys want to be on the episode because there was some concern about Lex's well-being before we get to the damn sandwich. There was some concern about Lex's well-being because of the Hurricane Dorian, and it's more like Borean because it totally missed you guys.
Oh yeah, it's killed multiple people in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt.
Okay.
That, yeah.
Okay, I retract my joke. See how that works, politicians? You can pull that shit back. Just apologize and say, hey, I apologize. I didn't realize the effect. Yeah, let me tell you some bullshit real quick, right? So there's a Twitter account. What is it?
Let me tell you some bullshit. There's Twitter. Done.
Yeah. The end. This Twitter account, Theme Park Rides, Theme Park Reviews. That's what it was. So they were bitching basically about the fact that Starbucks chose to close locations in Orlando because it looked like Dorian was going to hit.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so Starbucks, let people know ahead of time, and they put up a little nice sign. It was like, due to, people and their families having to get ready for this storm, we're going to shut down our locations temporarily over the next few days. For some reason, Theme Park Reviews, who I just go to see if I should check out a fucking roller coaster, decided to get pissy about it and go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, this doesn't make any sense. Why are you guys closed? Every other business in the mall is open. It's like, okay, I can see.
That's also not true. Orlando is right and smack dab in the middle of Florida, so they were going to be affected way heavier, and they canceled my school.
Right.
Over the weekend. So like today I didn't have a class today, but there were no classes today. Okay. Even online school, they can't make you like participate. It's really weird.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's just it's a reasonable reaction.
Mm-hmm. Right, because you have to do
safe.
prep. It's intense.
It's not just pick up and go. Nobody lives like that, So it's kind of wild though that this Theme Park Review Twitter account decided to make a stand to say, oh, I didn't get my fucking pumpkin spice latte. I'm pissed, and the world needs to know from my corporate account, not just like Rob's personal account or Joey's personal account or whatever the fuck their names are. And just like, say it to... He wanted to make sure all 100,000 of their followers knew that he was upset.
And either way, it's one thing to just view it as a corporation, but it's really disrespectful to all of the people that work for that corporation.
It is.
Absolutely.
And I don't think Starbucks is perfect, but I have heard some decent things in the past about them helping out employees in situations like that. So good on them for canceling it.
You want to err on the side of caution. That's what you want to do. And I understand that. I applaud that. And
the storm was no joke. And, you had to take it seriously. I got worried... End of last week was when I started to get a little bit worried because it looked like it was coming straight at us.
Yeah.
Now we would have had because I'm in the Tampa Bay area, so I'm on the West Coast. I always do East Coast, West Coast, get it confused because I'm on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast of Florida though, so it would have gone through land, broken up quite a bit, and then been like Cat 1, Cat 2 levels. Storms. When it hit me, which is not something you joke about, but like you still take it seriously. I thought, okay, we're gonna lose power for several days, which is what happened last year with I can't remember the names at this point. I think it might have been Irma. I don't know. There's so many of them.
There's a lot, but my deepest condolences to those who are affected by this, absolutely. And, there are many ways that folks can help out if you desire. I know Red Cross has already said that they could use some help. So just, check out and see where the need lies, and just do your part as a human being to be a good person. And
at
do
the
what you
very
can.
least, don't be shitty about it. Just because it didn't hit the U.S. doesn't mean, or so far it hasn't really done a lot of damage to the U.S. does not mean that it isn't a huge fucking deal.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the part that drives me nuts, is that they don't is the kind of celebration of it didn't hit us. I'm like, it devastated the Bahamas.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Not care about a bunch of people on an island just because they're not exactly like you and in your country. That's bullshit.
It's a wild thing, that type of attitude. I just don't understand. And it's definitely, and it's hard to say, okay, it's obviously racist. I mean, you can't even mince words about it, because you look at something like that happens in the Bahamas, and the people who were very much affected, actual people, and then you look at a fucking church burning down that no one was in.
Mm-hmm.
I might have disagreed with you had I not been a kid living in a hurricane area when I watched what went down with Katrina. Obviously, I did not live in that area. I lived in Florida. We were worried about hurricanes at the time.
Yeah.
And watched how differently the world reacted to Katrina victims versus other storms.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what's the thing in common here? And the same shit happened with, maybe not as bad with Maria, which hit Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
This one, though, kind of feels like a similar thing where it's like, I'm just not care. I don't know. I would have gone, okay, I can give a little bit of a grain of salt if they're not the U.S. So as we know Puerto Rico is a part of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So people did have that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't really, because New Orleans is a part of the U.S. and people still were
yeah. I mean, it's a very obvious thing. Now that we're more connected than ever, it seems like it just makes us more and more distant, and it's weird. It's such a weird thing, but
because our brains aren't meant to process everything that we're getting. Our brains are not advanced enough to deal with this. We're not equipped to deal with trauma on the level that we see every single day on our phone. And I mean, everyone's like, why do we have such high suicide rates? Why do we have, so many mental health issues? Why do we have this? Why do we have that? Everywhere in the world, not just in the U.S. Just
right.
We have it, particularly in the United States, we have a high suicide rate, unfortunately, with males. But everywhere in the world, we have mental health issues and things like that. It's always existed, but it keeps getting worse because A, we're more informed about it, so we can diagnose people with more ease, and B, we're exposed to terrible things all the time.
True.
I had over the weekend someone thankfully sent out a warning, someone that we follow through our Instagram or Twitter. And apparently, the guy who created Twitter, his account was hacked.
Oh, wow.
So his account was hacked, Jack or whatever. His account was hacked, and I don't know if this was the hack or if he did this by choice, but he reposted a video of a woman stabbing children.
What?
Oh my god.
I did not. Okay, so here's the good thing. Someone warned about this, and I immediately logged off for several days kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this happened, and it's oh my god. So apparently the guy who was scrolling through Twitter, he was with his kid, getting ready to put his kid to bed, and sees this video.
Wow.
And so it's you can't. Yeah, I've had a couple times where it's Twitter, and then all of a sudden you're hardcore pornography or
oh yeah, that happens. Yeah,
whatever,
I see that shit too. I, as you know, follow all the DuckTales Twitter accounts and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
And then
oh no.
Yeah, it's about to get weird, right?
Oh,
so
no.
fucking, I'll be scrolling through and just seeing people with their gifts, just talking about, I can't wait for the next episode. And it's Louis, and he's making it rain, or Glomgold making it rain. They do that a lot on that show, apparently. So, I see that, and then some bot replies to it, and all of a sudden there's this dude just plowing into some chick, and it's whoa, what the fuck? Kids are looking at this shit, man. And I hate to sound like fucking Maude Flanders, but I mean, that's just, when you do that, when you program a bot Don't have it reply to the DuckTales threads or the Steven Universe threads. That's fucked up.
And you know that kids are on Twitter, and it drives me nuts that kids are on Twitter. They should not be on Twitter.
Right.
I was scrolling through the other day a hashtag. I'm not gonna say what the hashtag was, but I was like, "Oh, you're too young. Nope, out."
You say you were too young?
No, they're too young. I was like, you're not in the half my age plus 7 math. This is I'm out. Bye.
Man, okay, but to talk about something a little more positive.
I don't know. That was pretty funny to me. Can you hear me?
Sorry,
Lex is dead.
No, I was dying over here. I was having a coughing fit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the internet. I'm like, no.
Yeah, when you get to be a certain age, it's a coughing spell. Yeah. I've reached that age now.
Got the black lung.
Why you gotta be black lung? Okay. So, well, let's talk about.
That's what they call it. I don't know.
Let's do the most hackneyed changeover ever and talk about the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Oh, wow. That was the best.
I wanted to segue. I tried. There were many opportunities, but we kept going further down the rabbit hole. So here we are. Popeyes chicken sandwich.
You're like a porn bot. That doesn't belong here, but yet I'm going to do it.
Hold my hat. I'm going in.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Lex, you have not yet had a chicken sandwich.
Ever? No.
Change it. Let's change this. D, you've had the chicken sandwich.
I was taking a drink when you asked that. I did not expect me to be drinking. So I was like,
you go ahead and drink on. D, let's talk about the chicken sandwich.
I want this chicken sandwich. I'm scared to go seek it out because I heard that a guy pulled a gun. That was going to be our Wall of Weird story, which I don't even have the article for. But a guy, they said they were sold out and he pulled a gun.
Yeah.
Like, give me the goddamn sandwich or whatever. Like, what? Come on. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I absolutely heard that story, and it's amazing. It's truly amazing how psychotic people have gotten about this chicken sandwich, and I gotta admit, I was on the cusp because it was like it was being way too hyped. It was being super overhyped. That's the only thing I can say for sure that Popeyes, that has gone wrong with this whole chicken sandwich. Otherwise, the actual product is amazing.
Oh, this is the up.
Shit. Like, man, it's seriously, it does live up to the hype. It does live up to it. But, yeah, it's just, the problem is that Popeyes just doesn't have enough of them to go around, and people are just greedy as well, and they're trying to buy up chicken sandwiches for a whole fucking week.
Yeah. Like there have been stories about people selling the sandwiches on Facebook.
Yes, for $225.
Right.
If you buy, I don't care if you buy it for the exact same price that they paid. If you take a sandwich from another person like that, you have something wrong with you.
Like, you just randomly taking sandwiches from strangers. You don't know what they did to it. You don't know what's going on with that sandwich.
I tell you, it absolutely has ecstasy in it.
Yeah,
just stop. Full stop.
Man.
Like, people aren't swiping wallets anymore. They're swiping sandwiches.
Can you imagine just a stranger bringing a chicken sandwich to your house?
Yeah.
Just
Isn't that called Grubhub?
Oh, yeah.
And DoorDash.
And Postmates and Uber Eats.
And Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. So I retract that statement as well. Again,
so the chicken sandwich itself, is it just the spicy chicken? Is there anything else on the sandwich?
We had the spicy variety.
We did have the spicy variety.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah.
And you know what? A part of me feels like maybe they didn't put the sandwich fully together right.
Oh, really? Why do you say that?
I think that there pickle on it.
Yeah.
There was pickle on it. Okay. So I think that the picture that I've seen so far in the commercials and everything have shown some lettuce on there as well. And I am totally that person that's like, okay, if I buy this sandwich, it better be aesthetically pleasing. It better look just the same way that I saw it in the commercial or on the poster, or else you're faking this shit, and I'm not down for that. So at first I was a little bit, apprehensive because it didn't look exactly the same, but it did still look big and tempting and everything. But basically the sandwich the spicy sandwich does have the dill pickle slices on it, and there's like just this spicy sauce, like a spicy like mayo almost.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course the entire like chicken breast is just like it's their spicy version of their chicken.
Oh yeah.
But
nice.
the
bone out.
Yeah, bone out,
right.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would suck.
I was gonna say, can you imagine?
A quick little side note. I was reading Atlas Obscura today about like signature Chicago food.
Okay.
And they have one thing called an atomic cake, which we're going to talk about on fucking since last we spoke, because this cake needs to be in our lives.
Really?
The second thing was the bone-in pork chop sandwich. Have you ever had one of these?
What?
I remember growing up, and that was kind of a thing, where it was like a pork chop sandwich, but the pork chop still had the bone in it.
Oh my God! Like...
So you had to be careful.
I really like pork.
So you said you don't like pork, Lex? No.
It's going in and out.
Oh.
I can hear you. Okay. The best part of that was hearing both of you go, "Oh!" and then it cutting out. It was so funny.
That's funny.
So I don't like pork chops. I barely like pork. I'm not a pork person. So even like barbecue, I used to get when I was younger barbecue pork or whatever, and now I'm like brisket's better.
You don't mess with that swine. I understand. It's fine. No, it's just
So like the idea of just a pork sandwich, no appeal. The idea of a pork sandwich with a freaking bone in it.
Yeah. So it's like pork sandwich expert mode, basically.
Pretty much, because the extra crunch comes from broken teeth.
Oh God.
That's what that is.
Atlas Obscura. So yeah, I mean, are you familiar with Atlas Obscura at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vaguely.
Okay.
I know. I've seen the books. I've seen the literature.
The literature.
So yeah, that's basically just all it is. It's just like random shit to do around the city if you're bored. And they have this section called Unique Food and Drink in Chicago. And one of the 8 things they list, because there's only 8 things. Maybe they have more in the book or something like that. But it's just this nasty ass picture of a bone-in pork chop sandwich.
Oh no!
It
even looks bad.
It looks terrible. I'm gonna send you the picture through.
Because it sounds awful, and like describing it sounds awful. So I can't imagine like you would think the picture they would be like, we got to sell this.
I would take it back. It looks like something Barf would serve on. You can't do that on television.
There you go. That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. That is gross.
It's pretty bad.
My God.
Yeah.
What the hell?
This is a Chicago staple.
First of all,
Chicago weird.
I will say this: it's not a sandwich. Just because you put like a random ass thing between bread does not make it a sandwich. This is an abomination.
Yes.
It's all sticking out. It's all fucked up looking.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
God.
Is it a whole pepper?
That's a whole pepper. So they've got some terrible shit. Apparently, Atlas Obscura doesn't like Chicago too much because bone-in pork chop sandwich, Malort, which everybody knows is like just regret in a bottle.
Exactly.
They have this thing called the Tolene, which is Thai red beans and rum combined in a winter warmer inspired by a South American specialty. I don't want to diss that because I've never tried it before.
Yeah.
Boston baked beans.
But if they don't serve it singing it as Dolly Parton's Jolene, I'm out.
Wow.
Something called a cashew nut and a rice crunch.
What?
Which just sounds like something your grandma would have.
Yeah, that's just a plate of nuts.
Yeah, stuck
just
together.
a bowl of nuts.
It's just a bowl of nuts stuck together.
That's it.
Then this thing called the Tom and Jerry, which is a hot winter punch.
I don't trust it.
You don't trust hot winter punch?
No.
You can't drink it if you're a Mormon. I just learned this. I'm listening to the last podcast on the left Mormon series. And they're talking. So they were talking about coffee, but apparently it's all hot drinks. You can't have any form of hot drink.
That's
What?
sad.
Are you serious?
Tea, no coffee. You can't even have iced coffee because it used to be hot drink.
Stop it.
Hot drink, you can't have iced tea.
Stop
It was
it.
formerly hot drink. Yeah.
Wait, so what's the whole belief system? Is that do they believe God's gonna come down and be like, get that hot shit out your
It's one of their it's one of their doctrines. Okay, first of all, everyone has to listen to this. It's an ongoing thing right now. And this is 3 parts in or whatever. It's amazing. I think it's part caffeine. And someone was saying outside of the podcast, like supplemental thing I saw on a Facebook post, I believe, that that's the reason they make caffeine-free Coke.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
Stop.
Yeah.
What?
Because that's a huge portion of like their base. They can sell that to.
Are there really that many Mormons on?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I've had caffeine-free Coke before. This is something I didn't mention last time.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had it before, and it is just like the boringest drink. It's like somebody took everything that's good about Coca-Cola and said, "Nah, fuck it."
Yeah, my grandparents drink it.
Oh man,
They drink caffeine-free Diet Coke.
I don't get it.
Wow. That
Because it's
sounds
like
like
caffeine.
sadness.
Yeah, no, they don't like caffeine.
Okay.
So apparently,
Sounds
I mean, look, there are a lot of Mormons. We almost had Obama not won, Mitt Romney would have been
Yeah,
president.
Mitt
That's
Romney.
true.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a thing. And it's not, and like they're talking about it, it really is borderline cultish.
Yeah.
If you have Mormon listeners, how are you listening to this? I'm
no.
genuinely curious. But the second thing here is, so I'm like, first of all, how are you listening to this? If you disagree, please write in. I am more than happy to hear it.
I don't think it's even just a disagree, because I know some Mormon folks, and it's not that different than everybody else. However, there are some distinct differences. I mean, it's kind of akin to the whole thing with the Hasidic Jewish culture, where you can't have like cheese and meat in the same.
I totally would have agreed with you before I started listening to this and learned more about their history, and now like Scientology. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, there you go. There we go.
I don't know if it's that far, but
man.
I hear what you're saying.
Do it. I mean, I want to hear from Mormon. If you're currently a Mormon, write to us. I love hearing that stuff.
Man.
If you're an ex-Mormon, definitely write to us. That sounds awesome. I want to hear it. But anyway, so
back to the Tom and Jerry. So
we can't have hot drink. Can't have hot drink.
And Jerry.
So,
The Tom and Jerry begins with a frothy batter of separately beaten egg whites and yolks folded together and mixed with sugar, vanilla, and warm spices such as cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice.
No.
Wouldn't nutmeg and cinnamon be included in the allspice since it's allspice, or is that just no?
I don't know what spice.
Neither do I. I think it's just allspice.
I'm gonna look it up. Keep talking.
Cream tartar is occasionally added to ensure the beaten egg whites maintain their stiff peaks. When served as a party punch, this sweet, eggy batter is often ladled out of special Tom and Jerry punch bowls. This sounds like punishment.
Okay,
No,
allspice
is
is cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves.
Thank you.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yes,
you're
right.
You add cinnamon,
It is
nutmeg,
allspice.
and then more cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves.
Right, because you need more spice to kind of fight down the tragedy that is at
I hate
the white
cloves.
It
eggs.
sounds like you're drinking an unbaked cake.
Oh, God.
What is the deal with egg-based drinks?
It's cake
Yeah, like
tartare.
eggnog and stuff, right?
It's just cake tartare. That's
Ew,
all it is.
That's damn disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like eggnog either, by the way.
Yeah, me neither.
Not a
I'm
fan.
not a fan.
Not a fan. No.
Nope. I'll take glog.
Glug?
What
No
is that?
problem. Glug.
Glug? The Danish drink?
Yeah.
So-
I don't know what that is.
It's hot wine.
Oh, it's a hot drink.
It's a hot wine, but it's
Yeah.
Have
like
it.
got all
Hot
kind
drink.
of fruit. Hot drinks, baby. But it's got fruit in it.
right.
And it'll
right.
get you fucked up. And you'll learn things about your family that you never wanted to know. Or wait, no,
Look,
I
I
shared
already
too much.
know way too much that I don't want to know. So.
All I know is people start getting loose when the glug comes out
Mm-hmm,
at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
That and the Kringle? Oh, shit.
Oh man, it's over.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is either.
Kringle is a fat, flat.
Fat black.
I meant to say flat. It's a flat pastry that's served in like an oval shape. And so it's like a very like thin dough And sometimes it has nuts in it, sometimes it's got like fruit in it. Hopefully you get fruit because the nuts are kind of but the blueberry is the best. The blueberry
is this a particular thing like that certain, is it like specific to families or is it like an actual thing other people?
It's a Danish tradition. So like
I've never heard of it.
At Kris Kringle Market here in Chicago, they have it at Daily Plaza every year at Christmas time. It's just like this very Danish Christmas type thing where you can get drinks served out of little tiny boots and stuff like that.
Oh, that's drinks. Cool. I'd like to do something like that.
Yeah.
Hot drinks and boots.
Just a quick description. Kringle is a Scandinavian pastry, a Nordic variety of pretzel.
Nordic.
Pretzels were introduced by Roman Catholic monks in the 13th century in Denmark, and from there on they spread throughout Scandinavia and evolved into several kinds of sweet, salty, or filled pastries, all in the shape of Kringle. So most of the time, the Kringle that I've had has all been sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always delicious. And apparently the best one is coming out of Wisconsin.
In Racine, Wisconsin, there's a place that serves a very specific kind of Kringle. And my dad has actually driven there before, specifically to get it for Christmas. And he's been the hero many times for doing so.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So, we passed the place actually once, and I almost lost my damn mind. I think it's like early on in our relationship. Well, we were married, but it was like, like one of our first couple years.
Yeah,
like during the shaky times.
Yeah, no,
shaky times.
There were no shaky times. There was moving and shaking. There was no shaky times.
Oh, wow.
So okay, all right, maybe.
He means it. Okay. All right.
So we were going to a belly dance show in Wisconsin, and not only did we pass several gas stations that advertise having the largest jerky selection in the Midwest.
Good Lord.
We also passed, I think it was like KO Bakery or something like that. Yeah. And I almost lost my mind and crashed the car because I'm like, oh shit, Kringle.
Right, and this is like October. This is the beginning of October.
Hey,
like their brains are not even on the Kringle cart yet.
I could feel my beard growing out. Oh yeah, Kringle.
Oh my.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I never had Kringle.
We need to fix that.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
It's a delight. It is quite a treat.
So yeah.
I don't remember what we were talking about. So
we were talking about a lot of things. So let's close it out with the sandwich so Dee can get back to Horizon. So the chicken sandwich from Popeyes is definitely a smash.
Mm-hmm.
Smash hit. You should definitely get this sandwich, but not through nefarious means.
Exactly. Please don't.
Oh my God!
Popeyes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So you were saying somebody got stuck up at gunpoint because the server got stuck up at gunpoint. Somebody was also trying to sue.
Yes.
Because they ran out.
Right. This guy tried to sue Popeyes because for damages to his car and for all the gas that he wasted. And the tire damage that he accrued from traveling from location to location to location trying to find this sandwich and never actually getting his hands on it. So he's trying to sue for like $10,000. I'm like, gee, come on.
You can hire.
What are you doing?
Hire the Popeyes employee for $10,000.
There you go.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this guy's car is worth like $500 tops.
Exactly. Full blown lemon.
Yeah.
No, $10,000 for damage.
Wow.
Stop it.
What's funny to me is that's also an absurdly low amount considering you're suing Popeyes.
Right.
It's both. It's a little bit offensive. Like I wonder if that Popeyes are like, this fucking asshole only thinks we can give up $10,000. He's not gonna go for like $100,000. No. Okay.
I'm saying Popeyes stock is trading at $76.19 right now. Restaurant Brands International.
Wow.
Not that I'm keeping an eye on it or anything. But, the market was down, period, today. So
Wait a second. Do you own Popeye stock? Is that why we're doing all of this?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh,
what?
Oh, okay.
No, that...
BMO, are you loving your rhinestone collar? Yes, baby.
You know the Popeyes lady? Yeah, we know her.
She's my auntie.
She's my auntie.
Yeah.
That bugs me too. Just the fact that there's this like black woman on TV trying to sell you chicken.
Oh my God.
Talking about my honey mustard ranch chicken strips,
Ooh,
which sounds
God.
disgusting. My crawdaddy encrusted chicken finger.
Crawdaddy
dip.
encrusted.
Something or other. She starts talking about how good it is. It's like you didn't do shit.
Oh my
You
god.
didn't do it. You're just some woman.
Okay. Counterpoint here.
Counterpoint.
Would you go there if they had a white lady named Rebecca or Allison or I'm just naming people I'm related to? I'm
Look,
so sorry, guys. If
Rebecca can
I
can
literally
throw
picked
down.
the like white names I could think of, and I'm like, wait, this is everyone I'm related to. Oh, I'm
Susan.
sorry.
If
Susan.
Rebecca or Susan can throw down with some chicken,
Susan. I'm not related to Susan.
There
So
you
if,
go.
if Susan, not that I know of, shit, there's so many. If a Susan was like, oh hi, I've got chicken. We've got chicken fingers. We've got. All right. She's like, hey, come down to Popeyes. We've got lots of chicken. We might be sold out. You know what? Dave's telling me we're sold out now, but we'll get more. We've got buckets full. So, and she's on the TV and she's like offering you honey mustard chicken or whatever the fuck you mentioned. You're gonna be like, yup, sold.
exactly. And I'll tell you why.
You're not, because you don't like Chick-fil-A.
I'll tell you.
So like you're.
Hold on. That's got nothing to do with it. The color of their skin ain't got nothing to do with why I don't like Chick-fil-A. The fact that they don't like.
Chick-fil-A doesn't hire black people, so.
Yeah, the fact that they don't quite like black folks or, LGBTQ or
Yeah.
working on Sundays.
Yeah.
The prime chicken day in this country, that's un-American. All right? I'm going to go out on a limb and say
Oh, but
that.
they make up for it with white evangelicals going, oh my god, they closed on Sunday. And I am
bet-
just going after
I bet theme park
some
reviews will have
fakes
something to
for
say
this
about
country today.
Chick-fil-A being closed on Sunday.
Oh my god.
Oh, how could they? I wanted to have a chicken sandwich before I got on the Big Dipper.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I want your chicken sandwich, but you got to be right with the Lord first.
With the Lord, right? You have to be pure of heart to take on that chicken sandwich.
Maybe it's because they want you.
Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Huh? Have you? Ma'am, I'm just trying to buy a chicken sandwich. No, but have you?
Right.
You can't order here until you do. Okay. Stop sprinkling me with water. What are you doing?
Right.
I'm blessing you. I gotta cleanse it out.
Well, we ran out of holy water, so this is actually just Sprite, you see.
It's just
Yeah.
Sprite.
This
It's
is
just flat Sprite.
This is flat Sprite. It's not even flat, it's still bubbly.
It's the same thing. They just add a little lemon. It's a refresher. So make it a little bit fun.
Oh, no. The bubbling on your skin is actually just the sin burning off. That's all it is.
That's
all
that's
it
from
is.
hot drink. That's a little bit of a hot drink problem.
And there it is. We've come back around. Dee, thank you very much for joining us for this ramble.
Thank you kindly. This has been a joy.
Yes. That vaguely contained Popeyes sandwich discussion. Thank you for
It's
joining
okay.
us.
We covered it.
You
We
can,
got it.
We
you can
did.
fast forward through this part where you listen.
Don't you dare fast forward.
Oh, no. I listen to it all.
Need these hits.
100%.
Need these
Yeah.
hits.
I
All
was
right.
secretly kind of hoping that it would be you guys just like doing the podcast this week.
Oh,
Because then I
really?
could listen to it. I was like, oh my god, I could listen to the podcast. If I don't want to die, but if I'm like dead adjacent, I can listen to the podcast. That's cool.
Hideo Kojima presents Death Adjacent.
Death adjacent.
Guest
Yeah.
starring Guillermo del Toro.
Of course.
Oh my
of course.
And Nathan Fillion as
I
Silent
don't-
Snake. I don't
Sure, why not?
know. Okay.
That he could pull that off.
I mean, Kiefer
Nathan
Sutherland
Drake.
did.
Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go.
Still waiting on that.
Yeah.
All
It's
right,
not
we're
going to happen. You know why? Because it's just gonna beat an Indiana Jones movie. That's why they can't.
You're absolutely
much.
right. You're absolutely right.
Like, there's nothing they can do without putting a controller in your hand to make that, new and
Yeah.
fresh.
Right.
So, Anyway, we're rambling now. We're gonna take a soft
That's
break.
our show.
We're gonna take a soft break and come back, and it'll be just me and Lex, like we used to.
Be cool, good peoples.
Thanks, D.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, call you right back.
All right. Hello.
Chicken sandwich. What up?
Nothing much. Since like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, okay. We're back. Microphone sounds right again because I don't have it on surround since it's just me.
It sounded fine.
Oh, good. I'm
On
glad
my
to
end.
hear that.
Last time, same thing. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it sounds in the edit bay, which is a fancy word for just me playing around with Audacity as usual.
Edit Bay.
The edit bay.
It's like Michael Bay, but not shitty.
Thank God. I'm sorry, I was taking a swig. Okay.
fine.
So,
What are you drinking? What you drinking?
man, you know, I'm drinking that Rockstar Lime.
Oh my god.
Still on that vibe, girl.
How many cans do you have left?
I think I got about 12. I've been pretty
Ooh.
I've been pretty moderate with it. Like I only
Is it
drink
like
them.
special recording night thing for you?
That's exactly it.
Nice.
It's only on recording nights that I take this because I want to be upbeat and peppy for everybody, and slightly less groggy from the day. Yeah, maybe
You're
I
gonna
should
have to
drink
order
some
more.
Yeah, I guess I should. But I got a nice supply here right now. Maybe I'll get another case, depending on how I feel by the end of this one. So
I was gonna say you might find something else.
yeah, that's true.
Love.
That's true. They might finally bring service to my market. I've been looking high and low. Gas stations, 7-Elevens, White Hand pantries. They don't have those anymore.
So apparently, I've been reading up on it, and apparently that is a problem a lot of people have run into, where it's like, oh, they have it, but I've never seen it in cans.
Yeah, like they have them at Burger King. Like you can get them on
Right.
on the fountain, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that, but my 7-Eleven seem to have it right now. That's it, though.
Man.
Select 7-Elevens.
So check your local 7-Elevens if you want to try that surge.
Yeah. Yeah, last
So-
time I got it, I got like 4 cans of it, and I'm on a break now. No, granted, that's like one a week, like you, with that,
Yeah.
So I'm not drinking sodas heavily.
That doesn't hurt. It
I'm
doesn't
drinking
hurt.
bubbly sparkling water. I'm a sparkling water person now.
You know what? We got on the bubbly train too, and initially I thought that it didn't taste any different than LaCroix, but it
No, it's
actually is a little bit more flavorful and a little bit lighter somehow too. So
It's the most flavorful I've tried
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
I'm doing orange tonight.
Okay.
That's fine.
We stick to
Strawberry's
lime.
my favorite.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we
Yes.
usually stick to lime, but it's good.
I love lime as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm on the orange bubbly. It's good. It's like orange soda, but not.
You can't go wrong. I do wonder though, because I've seen LaCroix Cola on the shelves before,
Oh, yeah.
and I wonder how that works. Like, is it a sparkling water with a cola taste, or is it just like straight up just like, oh yeah, we made a cola, and here it is?
I would assume it's just we're adding sugar and dyes and stuff to it.
Yeah, because it just
Maybe not even dyes.
We tried the whole clear cola thing before, eons
Yeah.
ago, as a nation, and we decided, nah, not for us.
We want our sludge.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's weird. I always thought that these were like sparkling water. This is me being dumb, but I always thought that they were like diet drinks. Like that they had aspartame and everything in them. But they're not. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's helped me a lot with my, I'm not drinking sodas and stuff, everything. So the
That's
sugar less life.
Do you
Although I've adjusted to it, so.
do you have a Fitbit at all?
No.
Okay.
I find that things like that make me anxious.
Huh.
I have to be careful about everything health related and everything that tracks my life too much. Because if I think about everyone's gonna think I'm high. I'm not high, guys. But if I think about like time too much, I freak the fuck out.
That's interesting.
If I think about like health things, I freak out thinking something's wrong with me. So I have to be. I don't weigh myself either. Like I can't do anything like that.
Okay.
Unless I go to a doctor situation. Obviously, you have to get weighed there. I don't weigh. I just go. How do I feel? How are my clothes fitting? How am I eating? How am I, everything. So that's all I do.
Well, I admire
Also,
that.
eating disorders run in my family, so.
Oh, well, that makes sense too. I mean, yeah, you got to do what works for you. That's the main thing. And if it's not like, oh, your doctor says you have to lose this amount of weight or you have to gain this amount of weight, then then if you feel good, that's what matters. I like to keep track. Like, I find myself more motivated when I gamify stuff like that. So, I do have a Fitbit, and I actually got a new one because there was a Labor Day sale going on, and my initial one, I have one of the Fitbit Charge 2s, and I've been using that for my my marathon type stuff, the 5Ks that I was doing over the summer. That one got beat up pretty bad. The screen was cracked. The band was just like completely worn out. It was one of those magnetic bands, and it just wouldn't grip anymore. So I decided to go ahead and get one of the Versas, which is not quite to an Apple Watch, but still not as basic as the Charge 2. In as much as you can like change the watch faces and stuff like that, and I'm still playing around with that. And that is a little bit overwhelming already. So I totally know where you're coming from. So
the gamifying thing, I totally get that. I keep track. I have like, I send you pictures of it. My journal is obsessive.
Yes.
Like I do track a lot of things. I do keep track of like my working out. I know I bike like 6 to 7 miles or whatever because my thing says it. And then like when I'm walking around campus or whatever, I do have my phone that tracks mileage, like, or whatever. In the health app in the background, it tracks how many miles you walked or whatever. So it's like, okay, I walked 3 miles today. Yeah. And like, I log that as exercise if I feel the need to make sure that I'm exercising. But I just can't do like a Fitbit. I can't do a frequently checking in to that app or whatever, because I just get too obsessive and paranoid, and it's anxiety. That's all it is for me.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. I like the idea that this thing is like, reminding me to walk around every hour or so to stretch and all, because I work at a very sedentary job. So it's important to remember to not let time get away from me and remember to get up every now and then and just kind of stretch my legs a little bit. And, they have challenges.
Fall asleep, and it's like, you've been writing for how long now? Please stop. Please stop.
Like, without being checked, I will sit through basically an entire day. Like, I can put my head down and work, and it's kind of a detriment too, because it's not like it's doing anything to really advance myself, I'm just advancing this work that I'm doing. It's just, it's important to just kind of like take a deep breath just for your mental health, your mental stability. Anyway, what I was getting at with the Fitbit thing is, like, you can gamify it in a sense that you can join a weekly competition with people where it's called like the work week hustle or something like that. Mm-hmm. And what you'll do is you'll compete against other people to see who can get the most steps within a 5-day period. And so that type of challenge is, attractive to me. I like that sort of thing. It's kind of cool.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it makes total sense. Like, I understand. It seems really cool. Like, I get that. I like that. It's just not something I personally participate in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Everybody's got their own things.
Everybody's got their thing, So that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, like, it's got like this breathing app on there too. So it like helps you time your breaths.
Oh my
meditate.
God. That is a prime example of something that would freak me the fuck out.
It would do the opposite of what it's intended to do for you.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
Sucks.
If I believe my heart rate is wrong in the slight, you know how many times I've thought I'm having a heart attack in my life. I mean,
you would hate this thing. You would absolutely hate it.
I would absolutely hate it. I know I would hate it. I've played with them in the past. I can't do it.
Nope.
So I just don't do. But you're like, it helps you control your breathing. I'm like, am I breathing wrong?
Yeah.
That is it for me.
You just forget how to breathe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We've all been there.
I can't be hyper aware of anything. That's how it goes for me.
Yeah. So we are on the cusp of Prime TV once again. Yeah. There have been several things that have come and gone over this summer, including Glow and The Boys.
I still haven't caught up on Glow. I'm a couple episodes behind.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Are you digging the season so far?
Yeah, I love it. I think I don't want it to end. I think it's that thing.
Yeah, I think Mark Maron does too good of a job playing Mark Maron, where it's like you just hate him.
Oh, yeah. I'm not... How do I talk about Glow without talking about Glow?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the direction that they're going with Mark Maron's character.
Yeah.
And interests. I find that weird.
Yeah, me too.
I don't get it.
Me too.
I don't see the chemistry. I feel like... and it makes sense. Apparently, they were originally going to have Rob Lowe.
Oh.
That's I think it was on Mark Maron's podcast they were talking about that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's interesting.
They offered it to Rob Lowe, and Rob Lowe turned it down.
Yeah,
and that makes more sense when you think about that storyline. I don't think it makes sense with Mark Maron.
I wonder if they tried to cast Rob Lowe before they cast the guy that plays Bash, because they look very similar.
Yeah. And I love Mark Maron. He does a great job on that show.
Yeah.
He exceeds my expectations. I actually started listening to his podcast because of Glow, not, the other way around. So I think he's great. I just don't think sometimes when you have, particularly with television, movies and everything, television more so than anything, you have one thing you're doing that's in your brain, and then you cast people and you see chemistry and you see how things are going and you go, I don't think that's it anymore. And a lot of mistakes are made when you dig in your heels. Like a good example is the ending of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Is that, without getting into details of that, but we're digging in our heels and we're going with our original idea. No, your show evolved and changed, and you should have evolved and changed with it.
I love how, even as far removed as we are from How I Met Your Mother, you still guard that nugget with your life. Yeah, no, I'm not saying the quality of the show. I mean the big overarching story and the reveal and everything. You guard that nugget, and that's kind of great. It's kind of cool.
People find things later. This is a really weird thing of people. I was just reading one of the actresses from the OC, the show The OC. She said people are discovering the show for the first time now.
Oh.
There are teenagers watching the show for the first time. It was on 15 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And they're watching it now. And that's how it works now. So,
yeah, absolutely. But usually we're it's been on for 5 years. Fuck it. No spoiler warning here.
If I spoil something and, someone tries to get mad at me for something that was on 5 years ago, I'll be like, fuck off.
Sure.
But I'm not going to intentionally try to spoil people. I want to give people fair warning.
Yeah.
It just seems like the cool thing to do.
So the reason why I was heading down that path is because I actually took a chance. Now that we're kind of in the in-between of, the summer shows and the fall premieres, I took a chance on Carnival Row, and I really enjoyed it, actually. It was
I've watched the first two.
Yeah.
And it wasn't completely grabbing me, but it wasn't bad either. That's what I would say.
It was, I'll say, the first couple of them were just okay, but once...
That's good to know.
Once they hit their stride, the character development and the interaction between these various interlocking storylines is masterful. I go as far to say, I really like the way that they use certain, certain types of mythical creatures to kind of represent things that are happening in the real world today.
Yeah, I found that incredibly interesting.
Yeah,
as well. I liked the world, so I anticipated I would return to it. Probably soon.
For sure. And I can't wait to see what they do with the second season. They gave away a lot. I would say this, self-contained. All the mysteries that are presented within the first few episodes, they give you a satisfying ending to that.
I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. And you know what? Especially in today's day of streaming and everything, where shows think that they're guaranteed multiple seasons, it's okay, we know that this could be our one and done. Let's
Especially
give you
for
a
a
whole
big
storyline.
budget show.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about a show like that that's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah.
And I feel like The Boys did that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Even though they left with a cliffhanger, I feel like they could have left off maybe the last few minutes of that episode, and it would have still been like, okay, this is a good ending right here. You know, we've come this far. This is how it's done. You know, I admire shows that do that, where they write themselves into a corner and have to work themselves out of it the next season.
Yeah.
I know I've talked about it before, but it's still one of my favorite moments where Mortal Kombat Annihilation just killed off
that is not where I expected you to go.
I know, because it's such a trash show. It was a bad show. But they had the balls to kill off every major character in their last season, thinking that they might come back and have to figure out a way to resurrect them. Nope. Just dead.
It was Annihilation.
That's it.
Yeah, that's how it should end. Yeah, that's fitting.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Okay, so I definitely need to return to that then.
Yeah.
I will now.
I recommend
it. I probably would have at some point, but there's more incentive.
Yeah. It's a good free time
show. I'm not really watching. I'm watching The Crown.
Okay.
Which is the British, you know. I'd seen a couple episodes of that in the past, but I'm like, okay, it's coming back in November. I'm fascinated by this change of cast. So I don't know if you know this, but so it's all about Queen Elizabeth, which is the current queen, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Queen Elizabeth, current queen. So they had Matt Smith was playing her husband, and then they had this actress Claire Foy playing the queen. So now they're coming back, but they did 2 years. Now they're coming back, and they're so that was when they were young. Now they're middle-aged.
Oh.
And they have all new actors playing them. And they're going to play them for 2 years, and then, or however many seasons, and then they will cast people who are the right age, old age, to play. So they're not aging up the actors, even though they could have easily done that.
Yeah.
They're recasting them along the way. It's fascinating.
That's kind of cool. My only concern about that is, you know, as shows are wont to do, they're going to want to do a flashback at some point to something important that happened years ago. And unless they use footage from those previous seasons, they're going to have to get those old cast members back.
I would like to think that they were smart enough to get a better contract with them, where it's like, hey, if we need you again, like, we're going to find a way to get you back.
We need to regenerate Matt Smith. Come on back. Yeah.
I decided to go back to this show and watch it. So I'm not really watching a lot of, like, there's not really a thing other than, like, okay, I'm watching The Crown, but it's like a dry British show, so it's not. So I think I'll go back to Carnival Row. I keep wanting to call it Carnival because there was that HBO show.
Oh, that show was great. Yeah.
I never saw it, but I know of it.
It's great, but it is frustrating because it did not get a proper ending, like most HBO shows.
I was gonna say so many shows back then had that.
Yeah. And it wasn't even just like, oh, I didn't like how it ended. No, it was just like, yeah, this is the end of the season, and we have many hanging plot threads. Basically like a Deadwood, you know?
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough love for Carnival for them to bring it back, even as a movie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so far out now that it probably won't ever have that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. All the actors look completely different. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and sometimes you can work around that, sometimes you can't. So.
Yeah. That's so funny. I made that joke about Hideo Kojima earlier in the episode, and I just got an email saying, hey, new Death Stranding footage.
When does that come out?
Man, it is out November 8th.
It's right around the corner.
It is. That's
Speaking
the other thing,
video
too.
Games,
Yes.
what is it the game you're playing?
Control.
You were telling me about? Control.
So I'm playing Control from Remedy, and I don't know. Okay, just to give you an idea. So Remedy is the same team that's behind the Alan Wake game, and they also did what was that? Quantum something or other. Quantum Break. Yeah. Max Payne too, of course, but that was way back.
But Quantum Break was a really weird game because they filmed real stuff. With the actors, and then they incorporated it.
So that's actually not even unique to Quantum Break. They did a little bit of that with Alan Wake too back in 2010. Alan Wake was a unique game because it took a Twilight Zone type of vibe and really expanded on that. It also had a lot of like trappings of a Stephen King story too, because you're like a writer and you go to this island, in the
like a mystery and
yeah, and then you get wrapped up in this mystery, and it's tied into this old TV show, and you have to shine light on monsters to make them go away. Alan Wake was it was ambitious for the time. Quantum Break came and went. It was pretty good. I didn't really play too much of it, to be honest, but I mean, what I did play of it, I really enjoyed. Now, Control hooked me almost immediately, and I'll tell you why. It gave me the same vibe that I got watching Fringe. And Fringe is a show.
Oh my god, I love Fringe.
Absolutely. Oh. Fringe is a show that I love.
Fringe is underrated. Jesus.
It's so underrated that I even forget about it sometimes,
Yeah, but then you remember, and you're like, God damn, Fringe is good.
It's so good. And this game...
Oh, God.
This game really does give you that same type of vibe. I can't tell you anything about it besides it's got a female protagonist and it's action-packed.
I am... Just speaking of Fringe, because I just watched Mindhunter Season 2. Did you ever get into Mindhunter, the Netflix show?
No, I never got into that.
Okay, so that's where they're profiling serial killers. So... It's like a whole thing. It's like the history of the FBI, but it's also fiction. It's a really great show. It's directed by David Fincher, who did Seven, Social Network.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, or he's a producer and he directs some of the episodes. So they've done 2 seasons of that, but Anna Torv, Olivia from Fringe, is on that show. And, oh my God. I'm straight up in love with her. She's the best. She's a big old dyke on that. It's awesome.
She was really good on Fringe, and
I was already in love with her from Fringe, but then it just extends into this new show, and I'm like, oh my god, killing me, Anna Torv. You're the best. I don't know how I got there, but anyway.
Control scratches that itch. That's what I'm getting at. There's a lot of.
This is selling me. If you're gonna, you're trying to, but like that is definitely. If you want to get me interested, get me like perking up, going Fringe. Huh?
Yeah. It's there's a lot of telekinesis and stuff like that, but it's not like X-Men, all in your face. It's a little bit deeper than that. Anyway, I'm mostly done with it.
An X-Men game that's been good, have we? That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, let's see if we can get an Avengers one that works first, because that one ain't looking too hot.
Like whoever's making X-Men video games, whoever owns that now, we'll help you out. We'll help you out. Let us know.
I still am going to check out Ultimate Alliance, but I haven't really heard much about it.
I never got into the other ones.
Yeah, I loved the first one. The second one was okay, but the first one was like absolutely fantastic.
The only thing I've heard about that new game, 3, is it 3?
Yeah.
The only thing I've heard about it is like it's a game if you liked the other ones, you will like that sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's a hard sell because those other ones are just so old at this point, Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to like get new fans involved at Part 3, which is weird that they even named it Part 3. They should have just gave it a subtitle because it's got nothing to do with the other 2. Or
just reboot it altogether. Like I don't understand. Like you said, it's what, 2 generations of games?
Oh yeah. It's a new dev team. It's only on Switch. And the character designs are completely different. It's just they're just trying to get that
gameplay similar?
Yeah. Okay. You get a team of 4 and you have to manage their powers as you go through a mission. So that's pretty fun. And I'm looking forward to it. I may wait for it to go on sale, but I've got those credits I gotta use too. Like I have
who was the studio that made the new Spider-Man game?
Oh, Insomniac.
I want them to make an X-Men game or an Avengers game or
You heard that Sony bought them, right?
Wait, what?
Yep, Sony owns Insomniac now.
Oh, okay.
Which is good and bad.
That's good. Yeah.
So Insomniac for years was just the company that made Ratchet and Clank games, and I love that. I love that series. So there was nothing wrong with that. But then they branched out and started doing like Sunset Overdrive. And
loved it.
That was multi-platform, I believe. At least it was on PC.
No, it was an exclusive at first, and then I think they expanded from there.
Oh, it was on Xbox. That's what it was. Yep. It was on Xbox One, and then it moved over to Windows. So I guess
And I
Sony,
know that because that was the first game I played on my Xbox.
right? And Sony was just like, no, you can't have them. They're ours, and decided to bring them back. They also made those first-person shooters Resistance. I like those a lot. I know those weren't really that popular.
No, I forgot about that. I enjoyed those too.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Ratchet and Clank series alone, that's some of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. So much so that that's one of those rare times I actually wrote fan mail. And I just sent something to them. I think I sent them like a T-shirt when we were doing GCPD, an adult beverage or something like that, and just said, "Hey, look, I really enjoy what you guys do. Cheers and thank you." And they wrote back and everything. They were like, "Yeah, thanks a lot, man. We work hard on these," and it's just,
oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I appreciate the detail that they put in those games because they would always connect one to the next, and they were funny and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, all the way back to Control, I do think this is a game you'd enjoy, and when it's on sale, you should pick it up.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the thing for me. Maybe it'll be like a Black Friday deal or something like that, or later this year. But for now, I'm like, I don't know. Because I kind of want that new Zelda game that's coming out the end of this month. I'm debating that one. And then right now I have
wait, which Zelda is this? This isn't the expansion to Breath of the Wild, is it?
No, they're not doing any more expansion on that.
Well, I don't mean like expansion. I mean this is like the sequel to Breath of the Wild that they
No.
announced.
Oh, what is it? Hold on, let me look it up.
This is a Link to the Past, or
I think it's from the previous system, right?
Yeah, so this is the remake of the Game Boy one, right? We're terrible.
Hold on. Link's Awakening?
Link's Awakening.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
It's that top down.
I have an excuse. The first Zelda game I really got into was Breath of the Wild. So
Okay. So this is a game near and dear to me because this is like
remake.
One of the first Game Boy games that I really seriously got into. And it was amazing just how like dense it was just to be on the Game Boy. Because, playing like Tetris and Super Mario Land and stuff like that, it's like, okay, these are fine. It's good for on the go or whatever. But Nintendo was like, no, we want all your free time. And they made Link's Awakening with this whole brand new storyline and a top-down Legend of Zelda. And now they've gone back and made it like kind of chibi looking. And I did that.
I struggle. No, I don't struggle with that. I think that's adorable. I struggle with the top-down because that's such an old style of how video games are, like that. Even talking about Ultimate Alliance or whatever, like that's sometimes that can be a struggle for me.
Yeah.
So it's like I probably will get that. That will probably be my next game. But for now, Control is on my radar now though. That tells me.
Oh yeah.
So we got I actually got a review copy of Pandemic.
Now, this came in under the wire, and I was very happy to see this, because, man.
I was, too.
I love Pandemic.
So, have you played... Now, when you say you love Pandemic, are you a person that played the actual board game, or are you a person that's played it on your phone or whatever?
It's about
I'm not saying, like, there's a hierarchy. I'm just asking.
Yeah. So, I played it on my phone.
Okay.
That's basically how it goes. Yeah.
No, that's fine. A lot of people have. So I've never played the mobile versions. I have only played the board game with my friends. And it's a lot of fun. It's always been one of my favorites. I liked the strategy. I liked everyone working together, everything like that. So I was definitely, because it's difficult to get people together. Everyone's got schedules and everything like that. So I was intrigued by this. I've looked at the mobile or iPad or whatever versions for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And so I was intrigued by this, and it's pretty damn fun. I just got it this morning. Like that, our copy came through.
Yeah.
And I've played it quite a bit. More than I got things done that I had to get done, but maybe not as much.
It was tough to put down, basically.
Oh yeah. It's a little bit. I really enjoy it. My only criticism is sometimes the buttons are kind of wonky, but like it has touchscreen and they've done a good job of incorporating it into the Switch. And it's such an addictive game. It's so much fun. You get to choose how many players you take in. You have a minimum of 2, but you can add more. So you can create your team. That's such a interesting strategy. That's what I'm kind of figuring out right now. I'm like, okay, what's the best team? Like, who are the ones that should be together?
Yeah.
So, thanks to Z-Man Games and Asmodee? Yes. Asmodee. Yes.
Asmodee.
Z-Man Games and Asmodee for giving us that review copy. So I have to be, completely honest. I did get the copy as a review, but it is so much fun. And it's like $20. I think it's just not bad for the fun. It's not like, it's not a shooter game or anything. It's a strategy. So if you enjoy board games, if you enjoy strategy games, if if you're into that, if you like thinking a couple steps ahead and going through all of that and trying to build the strategery of it, it's a really fun game.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Yeah. So that's cool, man. I mean, getting games.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on that. I mean, that's big. That's really big. That means that,
cool.
they see the value in getting Lex Luthor's opinion on this game. That's kind of dope.
Yeah. Now I was like, oh man, now we got to get you Resident Evil 4. You haven't played it.
You did ask. You're like,
you hadn't played that?
Right.
Are you sure that you haven't played it?
I'm sure I haven't played it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if you were forgetting, because it was such a big game. I was shocked.
It was a big game, but as I mentioned last week, like it first debuted on the GameCube, and it got great reviews, but Capcom wasn't happy with the fact that nobody really played it. So they were like, all right, we got to release this on everything else now, guys. I'm sorry, it's no longer an exclusive.
Oh,
we're gonna
I
take
didn't
this
know
back.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing. They wanted to make, I guess they had some type of deal at the time, Capcom and Nintendo, where they were trying to help bolster the GameCube. So
Gotcha.
Resident Evil 4 was exclusive, and then they did a remake of 1, I believe. That was very well received as well.
I'd like to play those older ones too. Like, I know that there's
ones, man, they're a trip.
I know. That's why I'm curious about them. But not as much as 4. 4 is the one that if I was going to revisit, that's the one I would say.
Chris's blood.
Oh, jeez.
Barry, where's Barry? Like shit.
What year was that?
Oh man, that had to be like 94. Yeah. Wow, we guessed the same exact year.
Let's find out if we're right.
It sounds like a 94 type of game because it was PlayStation 1. So yeah, it was around about that era.
What if?
Like, I'm so old. I remember when PlayStation used to have those long ass boxes that the games came in.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, before the jewel cases, before they were just
like wrong.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
We were off by 2 years, 96.
96, okay. That's not too bad.
Same diff.
Yeah.
What ifs?
Now that I think about it, yeah, I was having high school shenanigans while we were playing that and some.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
No, okay, wait. Hold on.
Hold up.
Speaking of re-releases and everything like that, something's popping up here and it says it was initially conceived as a Super Nintendo game in '93, then fully 3D person PlayStation game in '94.
Wow. And
then third person game with pre-rendered backdrops.
Wow.
So half right? Anyway,
yeah,
March of '96.
I can't imagine that on Super Nintendo. Like, I would love to see some footage of how it looked running on a Super NES.
I'm sure it's out there.
But I mean, that could have been part of the deal that Sony and Nintendo used to have when they were trying to develop the disk drive for Super NES. Or no, that disk drive was for N64. I'm all over the place tonight.
That's okay.
Yeah, but you're familiar with that whole thing, how the PlayStation started out as the N64.
I was not until you explained it to me. I was like, oh my god, I had no. I think you might have told me on the podcast, but either way, I know you were the one that told me. Yeah,
cool. Right,
that was a fascinating thing.
Yeah, I'm old manning that story. So yeah.
No, it's fine.
So yeah, I'm interested in playing the collection on Switch when it comes out, because I don't know, man, everything's better on Switch. It just feels I don't know, it feels like handheld Switch playing AAA games is like living in the future.
That's, you know, what's funny is you're like, this Control game is great, man. It's great. And I'm like, fuck, is it on the Switch? Like that is my thing where I'm like, I want this to be on the Switch.
Yeah. Now I do have a couple of warnings about this game. So, and it's a known issue. Remedy's addressed it as well. It does chug. And when I say chug, I mean, remember loading screens? Remember those? Yeah. Those happen. If you die, it's gonna load for about 15 seconds, and it feels like 15 seconds is a long time until you count it out.
Really? Terrible.
Yeah. So there's that. Also, there's this weird thing where it goes down to like 10 frames per second when you come out of a pause. So if you're in the middle of a firefight, that's not good timing.
I mean, can't they patch a lot of that? By the time I get it, they might fix most of that.
They will. And that's actually what they said. They were like, look, you know, we're aware of the issues. We're working on making it work better for consoles. However, it's not like flipping a switch. And that's literally what they said. And I'm hopeful that by the time Christmas rolls around or whatever, they will patch it. Because I'll give this a second playthrough. I'm almost done with it now, and I've struggled through all that crap. But just so you know, and the listeners know who are thinking of checking it out too, it apparently works best on Xbox One X. Because that thing is a monster. Yeah. But if you do, if anybody does, and you want to check it out, that's the system to get it on. Because I got it on PS4 just because I like the PS controller better, you know, when given a choice. So, it's just strange. It like surprised me how long the load screens are. But the load screen's kind of funky too, so you don't mind it too much.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm definitely understanding with stuff like that. I know people love to complain about those things, but you know, it happens.
It does.
You know, but yeah, I agree with you with the Switch, man.
Yeah.
I love the Switch.
Me too.
And I want more. And as I'm playing Pandemic on it, because I haven't played it in a while, as I'm playing Pandemic, I'm like, oh, I really love this system, and I should buy more games just on it. But you know, the thing that they have is that a lot of those big tier games like Zelda, they never go down in price. They stay $60, and so it's like for me, you know, being as cheap as I am, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not playing this one
because you got to find them gift card deals, homie.
I don't understand. It's like you winning the Legos. I don't understand this thing.
I try to let you know now, but it's always like it catches you between like paydays or whatever. So yeah, it's just bad timing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Between paydays all the time.
Look, man.
Anyway.
So, we got a couple of listener requests of things to discuss tonight.
Yeah. So John Craig decided to talk again. So I guess we can deal with him. All right.
So just to follow up on our friend Pranks Paul that I mentioned last week from the podcast Never Tell Me the Pods, who is a Star Wars super fan. He's called Pranks Paul because his legal name is Priyanko, and it's his nickname. So the nicest guy in the world gets saddled with this name Pranks Paul, and you're always like kind of on edge because you're like, oh shit, there's going to be a false bottom in this cup. No, it's just his nickname. That's it.
Okay.
So shout out once again to Pranks Paul. I want to talk a little bit about something else he brought up. What was that? The Black Knight thing? Yeah. The
Black Knight. Yeah. So he wants us to get excited for Black Knight.
Yes.
In the MCU. And then basically between him and Doctor Strange, we've got some serious magic going on in the MCU with his the blade, and he said John said a lot of things here.
He said a lot of things.
He said a lot of things, as John does, and that's cool.
That's why we love him. Yeah.
But getting so let me clarify this. It's not that I'm not excited for Black Knight. I don't know who this character is, so I don't feel one way or another about him. My issue was with the idea of Kit Harington playing another knight.
Yeah.
And or a knight-like character. So I don't even. I mean, by the time this movie comes out, I'm not like going into it with a negative thing. If all of this stuff, like the stuff you're describing, an Ebon blade, you know, which is like a lightsaber, all that sounds really cool.
I can't just say black.
I don't know.
You can't just say a black blade. It's the Ebon blade. Okay.
Ebon, yeah.
Sure.
It, all of these things. It sounds cool.
Sure.
It's weird because I'm almost like I'm still dealing with the Game of Thrones fallout, and I feel weirdly protective. I feel bad for these actors and all of the things they had to endure. And I realize some people hear that and like, well, whatever, they got paid X amount, they got this, they got that. I'm like,
it's not all about that.
It's not. It's also not easy to make things in this climate where we all want to tear stuff apart, like hyenas or something. Like we're just ready to devour, destroy shit left and right. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult to make things in that environment.
That's
true. I'm not going to defend the creators of Game of Thrones because I've voiced my issues with them. I'm talking about all of the other people, because I can criticize those guys. Those guys did a lot of things wrong, and the criticism of them is fine. It's all of the other people involved, the actors who are the faces of the thing, and then all of the people that made the sets and the cost. It breaks my heart. So it's a little bit of a almost protective of my little Jon Snow, even though he doesn't need it. He's okay. He's going to be fine. He's going to make lots and lots of money. He's already made lots and lots of money. He'll be just fine. But I think that's where I was coming from with it. I was like, we got to protect him.
Well, I'll tell you where I'm coming from with it. He's the character itself, Black Knight, right?
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me just how backgroundy the dude is. Like, he's always in the fucking background. Like, you've seen this character before, I'm sure. Because when they do,
I don't know.
Well, that's just it. He's kind of just like over there. So when they do big group shots of the Avengers, and it's like all these various characters that you may not know who the hell they are. Like, I'm sure there's somebody out there riding hard for Star Fox, but yeah, you wouldn't know them by sight usually.
And that's kind of a blessing for an actor, though, like to go in without expectations.
That's absolutely true. And I think that's a big part of the success behind Guardians, because these are characters that weren't really as beloved as X-Men.
Even looking back, it's hard to believe, but even Iron Man, even Captain America, these characters are, I don't remember, I was reading, I started reading comics like around the time the movies started getting into it and everything like that, because I had a mentor lending me comics, lending me all of these things. So, but I don't remember Captain America. I don't remember Iron Man being a part of our culture before those movies.
Yeah. I mean, even with Captain America, like, his character has been so developed since those old cartoons that came out, in the 60s and 70s and everything. Even like the cheesiness of his theme song when Captain America swings his mighty shield. It's like, who made that song? I feel like Stan Lee made it in a bar with all his drinking buddies, and they just sat around singing about all these manly men doing manly man things. But I digress. With Black Knight in particular, he has been a part of, it's like Marvel doesn't even know what to do with him. He's gonna be in the Eternals, right?
Yeah.
He's been an Avenger. He's been on the Defenders. He's been a hero for hire. He's been part of Ultra Force somehow, and MI-13. So it's like, he doesn't even really have a home. He's just kind of like, he's the hobo of the Marvel Universe. You gotta find a spot for Black Knight, and apparently that's going to be in the Eternals now.
Which is what you're saying is that's the reason why you're slightly skeptical.
I'm skeptical, but you know what? He's always kind of been that hero that's been shoehorned in. So it's like, okay, fine. Wherever you want to put him, cool, whatever.
Yeah, that works. That's a good place.
It's just, I feel like it's a shit job for Kit Harington.
That's mainly what I was worried about as well.
But it's kind of good for Kit too, because if the character catches on, they can easily slide him over to Avengers without all the fanboys complaining, because he's been an Avenger. They can slide him over to Netflix if you want a dude riding on a Pegasus or
not Netflix anymore, but
bat-winged horse, or because last week I was trying to figure out, does he have like a flying machine or a horse? Yes, to both. He has both.
Okay, he has both. Yeah,
it's just like how Wonder Woman can fly and has an invisible jet. There are many modes of transportation.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No. So So this is that's an interesting one. Did we have any other viewer stuff?
Yeah, we did. Teresa actually wrote us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
She wanted us to talk about astrology.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't know. How do you feel about astrology?
I've had people in my life who have been into astrology.
Okay.
And I have not. It has not been a positive outcome for me as far as the way I look at it.
It's interesting.
I don't care though. Like I'm like if you dig it, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I think it's fun. Like it can be fun to look at that and see how closely it aligns to your life and everything like that. But I feel like people that put too much stock into astrology and how it dictates who you are in life, that's a problem. Because basically it's giving people what they feel is a cheat sheet, you know, to figuring out what type of person you are instead of just talking to you and getting to know you. So oftentimes, you know, it doesn't happen nearly as much anymore, but people would ask, okay, yeah, hey, what sign are you? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm a Cancer.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, that was a thing for a while.
And it would always follow with, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's like, what the fuck?
or yeah, we wouldn't vibe. Like, or whatever. Like, we wouldn't get along because, or we would. Like, yeah, I could see that's why. I'm like, well,
you just automatically know that, okay, cool, I guess. And I mean, I can't help but think of like how many relationships and friendships, didn't kick off because somebody was just like, oh yeah, you're this sign? Okay.
I doubt that many, but who knows?
Yeah.
No, so I actually thought, because she was asking about that, I thought we were the same. We're not, apparently.
Right. Yeah, I'm a Cancer and you're a Gemini.
Apart, though. Like, we're only a couple days apart on our birthday. That's what's weird. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. And it's that whole cusp thing, too. So, like, I'm on the cusp of Gemini or something like that, or you're on the cusp of Cancer or some such. I don't know. So, anyway, my birthday is June 22nd. If anybody tells me what that means, I guess I'm open to listening.
Mine's June 8th.
There you go. So now you have one more tool in your toolbox of how to hack into our personal lives. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, I'm skeptical. We were talking about earlier. I'm skeptical of of a lot of this stuff. It doesn't mean I don't have belief. It doesn't mean I don't respect other people's beliefs. But I carry skepticism with this stuff, and that's okay. Like, just like I would expect people would be that way with whatever I'm into.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
As long as you're not a complete jerk about it. And I can be a jerk about it. So hopefully I'm not.
Well, we shit on so many different religions and beliefs this episode. I think we're, covering all our bases here. So yeah.
I'll shit on all of it. That's fine.
I'll shit on all of it. That's what I'll do.
I don't care.
No, I think belief in something is great as long as it encourages you and encourages others.
As long as it brings out the best in you. That's all that matters. So
exactly.
if knowing that somehow makes your life better, great. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go be kind to others. Take it out into the world.
Like, I know people who are way too much in the weed.
Yeah.
Just people who are way too much in the pot. There's a lot of people that smoke pot and, do edibles and all that sort of thing, and they do it for fun every now and then.
You sounded so old. They're like, they do edibles.
They do the edibles.
They do the edibles.
Yes. They have a marijuana cigarette every now and then. But then there are people who are just like, they have the pot leaf hoodies and shit like that. Yeah.
You know what I say about those people?
What do you say about those people?
Don't fuck them. It's a mistake.
Not today. All right.
Not today, Satan.
Not today. No. So.
Yeah, that's not my thing. But if it's your thing and you're not an asshole, that's good.
Yeah. That's fine. Be you. Do you.
So. Yeah, you do you, boo. Anyway, yeah, I'm a Gemini. That's all I...
Okay. So speaking of people who are definitely not letting people do them, it's funny because as we put the show notes together, you and I put two very similar notes in there.
They're just random. I thought what was really funny was the other night I created the show notes and we were both typing at the same time, but we were not communicating with each other at all. No. We were literally typing in an app, making notes for the show, but not communicating with one another.
Right. Just working.
Who would-
So, my story that I put in there was about the straight pride parade that happened over the weekend, which was, I don't want to say hilariously underattended, but yeah, it was pretty lackluster as far as parades go, and pretty shitty as far as rallies go too.
I forgot that they were doing this until
Yeah.
I hopped on Twitter for a second and saw Straight Pride Parade, and I was like, nope, turn it off. Like, I check notifications. Okay, leave.
People basically wanted to see this train wreck. Like, that's how it went down. This was a holiday weekend, and this parade took place on a Saturday, and they couldn't get more than like 50 people out there to do this parade.
I'm so upset by so many things that are happening in our country that you'd think that I would be really upset about a straight pride parade. I'm not. I don't care.
Hey.
Like, this is literally the bottom of my list of issues right now. You know, I don't like it.
No.
I think that it's incredibly ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think they're beyond, what is it? Interference or education.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly ignorance. I'm not saying people need to educate them. That's not on you.
No.
I'm not saying go do this and like that's on you, to fix their shit. But I just don't care. It's so exhausting, and I'm like, we've got homophobia, we've got, trans people being killed, we've got racism, sexism,
Sure.
We've got all of these things. People being killed for their skin, their skin. It's so much bullshit that I'm like, I don't care about the guys who wanted to throw a parade because they like doing the thing that majority of our society and the world does.
And see, that's where it gets incredibly hypocritical, as if it wasn't already.
Yeah, because they're dumb as fuck.
Well, not only that, but this was supposed to be apolitical. That's the way that this whole thing started out. It started out as a joke, and people were like, oh, yeah, how come there's no straight pride parade and all that bullshit.
Anyway.
Yeah. But this was supposed to be crossing party lines and bringing people together as Americans. Guess what? The one and only float that they had was a Trump float.
Yeah.
And they were screaming things like build the wall in 2020 Trump. So,
speaking of people you shouldn't fuck.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have much time left to say this. 2019, fuck them, but don't fuck them.
I know you share this sentiment. I feel so bad for straight women sometimes when I see this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Like, we all have to live in this world, but I'm like, this is your pool.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean,
my pool is very small and very shallow, but it's not that bad. I would still take it over yours.
I share the sentiment in as much as I feel bad for everyone that has to find a potential partner in this day and age.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that, who are in relationships, and they're like, I don't understand how you do. I'm like, I just don't. Life's terrible. I'm going to be alone forever.
much respect to you, much respect to everybody out there who's looking for somebody and open to love. I'll say that. Someone who is open to finding that special someone, because, yeah, there's a lot of specialness coming out recently that is not the good kind of special.
No. I think it's always been terrible, though. We just see more of it because we have social media and everything.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, once you go and find somebody who you admire or you think you could admire, it's just a click away, and it's almost like due diligence at this point. It used to be like, oh no, that's creepy. You're stalking on their Facebook, but it's almost like, now you kind of want to find out if they're not some nut job before pursuing them.
Right, and this is where I'm going back to. How do you find someone without dating online?
Oh, yeah.
that drives me nuts because I don't want to do that.
Right.
But I also want to find someone. So I'm like, oh my God, this drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Everything's terrible. But at
Motherfucker.
least I'm not one of these dudes.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, dude. But what warmed my heart about the whole situation is the fact that there were many people standing against them during this parade too that came to speak up in a peaceful manner. They came to speak up, speak out.
That's the part that makes me happy too, was that it was completely peaceful. I didn't hear any problems.
They were flanked by protesters and police urging them to just move on. So that's good.
Cops too?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I know.
Given the city and the subject matter.
Right. But
because it was Boston, correct?
It was Boston.
Yeah.
Counter protesters and just a few hundred people saying it's great to be straight. Wonderful, great, do that. And
then Matt, I have a question for you. Is it great to be straight?
It's all right. I mean,
I make jokes about that a lot.
Is it though? Is it great?
I do. And I'm like, no, that's awesome. Like, I just want everyone, what's weird about these people being so angry is like, they have no idea that I legitimately just want them to be happy.
Yeah.
And to love. And to, if they want a family, have a family. But I want them to be equal. I want the men and women to be equal. I want their kids to be equal as they go out into the world. I want them to make the same money for the same job. I want them to have everything, every opportunity to be equal regardless of their skin color, regardless of their nationality. I want them to have access to healthcare. I want them to have access to anything that they need in life because it takes a village to survive everything. It takes a village to raise children, all of that. So what's weird to me, when I'm worried about guns, when I'm worried about when I'm worried about their kids' education, I genuinely care about their lives and well-being. And so the fact that you sit there and mock others, like when you say you're a snowflake, you're this and that for liberal, not even talking about gay, like beyond that, everyone, who is not, MAGA or whatever, if you're doing that. I know not everyone's doing that, but still, if you're doing that, I'm like, I don't understand. I'm literally trying to help you, not just me. It's not about just helping me. I want to bring everyone up. And you're acting like I'm just trying to push you down. That's not how this is going,
Absolutely not. No. That's the thing about love. Love means a lot.
Never having
things.
To say you're sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, I should make a comic strip about that.
Deep cut. Oh, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, do you know what that is?
I do.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm not explaining it.
I'm not gonna spoil it. So all I'm saying is
that someone was mad.
Huh? What?
What if someone was mad that we spoiled? How old is that movie now? 50 years old or something? Oh, I would love that. Please get mad at us for spoiling that. Make me.
Yes, please write in if you're angry about us spoiling.
A movie so old that they couldn't say the word cancer. It was about cancer and they couldn't say it.
That's a damn old movie.
She just mysteriously dies.
That is a very old movie.
I'm sorry. It got too heavy. I had to make a cancer joke. All right.
Yeah. So, it's all about love. And that's the thing about it. It's like, okay, so they can say it's about love, but if you're excluding people from that love, that's not love.
Yeah, I think that there's this idea, and someone I did see before I logged out of Twitter, I did see someone say that there were flyers being distributed, and they were claiming that they're flyers from LGBT people, and it was just so stupid. It was like, all straight sex is rape or whatever, and it was like,
boy,
nobody made this. Oh my God, no.
That's either somebody trolling or one person that has some very strong views that I disagree with.
I do too.
Oh, look at that. We're not radicalized. Oh, shit.
No.
Wow.
Oh my God. God. Like, just be whoever you are. It doesn't matter. To people. It's good.
Reason together. This could have been, you know what? The best case scenario from this whole thing would have been if the people could have gotten together and instead of screaming at one another, had a conversation. But that shit ain't gonna happen.
That's always the case, though.
That's always the case.
That's always the case. It's, how do we talk to each other? How do we deal with each other? I don't know.
I'm having deja vu when I realize it's because that was my same solution to Batman versus Superman being a better movie. So they just talk to one another. If we can't even make Batman and Superman have a discussion, how could we expect the straights and the gays to talk to one another?
Your mom's Martha too? Huh? What? Gay people have moms named Martha. Okay, let's just all come together. Straight people have moms named Martha. Gay people.
That's have moms. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Same.
Right? Wow. Anyway.
So yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's my white man hatred news. What's yours?
I don't even want to talk about this.
No? Okay, that's fair.
I'm looking at it. Look, there's a story out there about how men think that being an environmental, like caring about the environment, means that you're unmanly or gay. And that's just sexism and homophobia.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how fucking fragile you are that saving a planet, picking up after yourself is not masculine?
This study that was done, apparently this study is a little bit older, but yeah, it's like that is attacking their masculinity in some way so they'd rather let the world fucking burn than anyone think that they're gay or feminine. And that is really the core of why we're in the shit we're in.
Man. That's a stretch.
Because it's that offensive to you for someone to accidentally think you're gay. You're not gay.
No, man. You're just being lazy. That's not even... What the fuck?
If you are... Or if someone accidentally thinks that you're a more feminine male, you need to evaluate how we're treating people that are those things in our society, which is half plus. Because there are men who are feminine or embrace femininity who are straight or gay or whatever. So any of those things, like if you have a problem with those things, congratulations, you are a part of toxic masculinity, which is a problem in our culture. You're certainly not alone. We can put you in a... It's
literally toxic masculinity because you're...
killing the earth.
You've become a Captain Planet bad guy.
Yeah.
Because you don't want anybody to think that you have sex with other men. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up.
Do men think that environmentalism is like, you gotta go fuck this tree? What?
No, I don't. That's...
Well, I mean, I think I'll do it, but like, I don't... does that mean you're gay?
If I pick up this tissue, it means I like men, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it.
Really stupid. That was like an actual study done. That's what's crazy.
On two fronts, it's fucked up because on the one hand, it's because like, all right, you don't want to do anything to improve this planet for future generations that you will sire being a straight man. And on the other hand, you're equating being gay with a negative thing.
And being feminine.
And being feminine is a negative thing.
Being women embracing femininity. Because there's nothing wrong, like, we all have masculine and feminine, all of these things, because it's a part of our culture, it's part of our world, and there's nothing wrong with, like, it doesn't, we're not in a negative way. It doesn't make you trans either. It doesn't make you question, like, it doesn't make you any of those things. Like,
it doesn't make you anything to do with your sexual preference or your
gender.
Or your gender. It's got nothing to do with that.
And if it was, like, if that was a part of you or whatever, like, there's plenty of people who would say, well, there's nothing wrong with that either. And if they're not saying that, then that says more about them than anything.
You know what, Lex? I don't eat Parmesan cheese because I like women, okay?
Well, we are on two very separate pages there. Yeah. No, it's just, it's weird.
I don't. It's
I'm
basically.
sorry. Do you actually not like Parmesan cheese?
Oh no, I fucking love Parmesan cheese.
Because we're going to have a fucking fight end the podcast. You offended my people. I'm done. All right.
Oh no, I'm a fan. I'm also a fan of taking care of the planet, and you should be too, because we got to live here, and your kids got to live here, and your kids' kids got to live here. Even beyond all that, everybody should do their part in this world. And if you can't man up and do that shit, then I don't know what the hell you are, but I don't think gay guys are going to automatically want you because you're begrudgingly recycling. I don't know. That's weird. That's a weird thing
even if they do, okay. So even if they do, and you're worried that they're going to treat you the way you treat women, well, then that's a fucking problem because you should be treating women that way.
Right.
Everyone should be respectful, even if they're interested in someone. And if they say they're not interested, cool. Done. End of story. That was a little compliment, and now it's over, and bye. Like,
right.
Don't be, like, it just goes back to, I really think all of it goes back to, I treat these people like shit. I don't want to be treated like shit, so I don't want to be associated with them.
That's crazy.
Like,
but I mean, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So
I treat women like garbage. Yeah. I treat gay men. I treat trans people. I treat, lesbians. All of these people like garbage. I don't want to be associated with them.
Well, now I know why you didn't want to go down this path, because it is a little infuriating. I mean, just the logic, the lack of logic in this. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's just
lame. I think that's a big part of why men don't want to be associated with femininity. Just specifically speaking about the male-female dynamic. They do not want to be perceived as feminine, not just because it's associated with homosexuality, but because it's demeaning in their minds, because then they're a woman and they're lesser.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of weird, the lines that we as men draw in order not to be associated with femininity. Yeah. For instance, pedicures, right? Taking care of your feet, making sure they don't stink, making sure they're not rough or anything like that. Any woman would appreciate some soft feet to snuggle up with at night.
Yeah.
But no, you want to have rough man feet.
Yeah.
Rugged, calloused, nails unclipped. That's just gross, man. Just, yeah, I understand.
Weird.
You can do it yourself. You can clip your own toenails and stuff like that. And I'm sorry if this is grossing anyone out.
It's grossing me out. Move on.
Good. All I'm saying is it's just an odd perception that having nice feet is associated with femininity, especially for the guys out there that like having their toes sucked on. It's so weird. Yeah, no, that was too far.
That was too far. Gross.
Okay, backing up the truck. So, just anyway, certain things that are associated with being feminine are also things that are associated with good hygiene.
Yeah.
And so for men to eschew that sort of thing because they don't want to be considered gay, it just baffles the mind why all these nice guys can't find a woman. But I'm the nice guy. I don't understand,
Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's just, it's that deep-rooted sexism, that deep-rooted homophobia, that deep-rooted, I mean, a lot of it comes back to sexism, I think. But, it's all really fucked up.
Even Brendan Fraser got a pedicure in Encino Man. You get you a pedicure.
You are really defending pedicures.
I am pro pedicure.
That's fine. Good.
Yes. In Ocean's 11, when they were recruiting Bernie Mac, he was sitting in a shop getting his nails filed down, getting what he called a sports pedicure. If you got to do that, that's funny.
little things like that in movies, I really think they have a huge influence. I love seeing stuff like that because I think that breaks down that idea. Because like,
I do too.
look, it's Bernie Mac. He's hilarious. He is straight, like, but he's just like, fuck it. No, I'm doing this cool thing. Whatever.
Exactly. Bernie Mac was cool in that regard. I mean, in many regards, he was a cool cat. Like, obviously,
I never heard anything bad about him, really.
Well, I'll be the first to say in this conversation anyway. Like, yeah, his comedy definitely has not aged well because he was just really out there. I mean, he was part of that whole Def Comedy Jam movement. He was on BET Comic View. He came up in Chicago, and they had that hard edge comedy back then. I get all of that. He was from the old school. So that's how things work. Like, I used to love Original Kings of Comedy. Going back and watching it now, yeah, there's a lot of problematic shit in there. But boy,
it's hard to put. You can't really put them on. We've talked about that.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
but specifically
with on older things. I'm like, you need to. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even prior and those guys like that, they had a certain way about them where it was more about. You can admire how they had the crowds in the palm of their hand, if not just admire the humor itself. So that's a whole different topic. We'll come back to that another time. But with Bernie Mac in particular, he normalized so many things as far as men taking care of themselves. Like on his show, he was talking about like, you know, there was an episode I remember in particular where he had some of the women over from the neighborhood and they were admiring how beautiful his home was and how all the carpet matched the drapes and everything. No pun intended. Yeah. And how like, you know, the furniture works so well. And he was just like, you know, they were like, oh, your wife must have done such a in-depth job picking this out and everything like that. You must really appreciate that she did this. He's like, no, I did all this. This is mine. I did all this work. I decorated this house.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Right.
My dad is that way. Very much. He, when he was in college and everything like that, like when he got his sense of style and like how he liked to dress, he put a lot of effort into that. And, you know, he was like, oh yeah, some people might have thought I was gay. I didn't care. Like, it's just, who cares?
Exactly. I don't care what.
He's not, you know, like, and that's fine.
Honestly, I don't care if you're not sleeping with me. I don't care what you think about me. That's just it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how it should be.
It's not an insult if you think I'm gay. So I'm not going to take it that way. That's just how it is.
No, and if you think it's an insult, you need to reevaluate some stuff in your brain.
Absolutely.
That's just, you know.
Right.
It's not that it's like, oh, it's the, you know, like that's the worst thing. Like, no, just become introspective about that. Why are you feeling that way? Therapy that shit.
Yeah. So that's that. That's how I feel about that. And that's all I got to say about that.
I agree. And I vote we move on to Wall of Weird because this Wall of Weird is actually hilarious to me.
Oh, okay.
It's bigotry, but it's hilarious bigotry.
Oh.
Not really bigotry, but like stupidity, I guess.
Okay.
Better word.
I'm ready for it.
So, Catholic school in Nashville, Tennessee, apparently has banned Harry Potter.
Wow.
From their library. Wow. I don't know what year this is. Because we've talked about this in the past. That's what they did in the 90s when those books were coming out.
So, I have several follow-up questions here that I don't believe are addressed in the article.
Okay. Yeah. Did you read this article?
I did.
Okay,
I did
cool.
read the article. Yeah. Had they heard of Harry Potter before now? Is this new to them? Did they come from a time capsule of some sort?
Okay. This is my best guess. That Harry Potter in their school is having a bit of a resurgence. Maybe because they have the new Beasts movies and everything like that. I don't know. Maybe, you know, it was added to Netflix and then a bunch of kids decided to go read the books for the first time. So like Harry Potter was a part of one generation. Now it's becoming a next generation thing. So that's my best guess. I don't know. I'm just guessing that they're seeing a lot of kids reading Harry Potter and they're getting all hot and bothered again.
Well, it's my turn to cheat on the church now. So I'll say this. As far back as I can remember, #Goodfellas. As far back as I remember, the church was always giving us a hard time about something. And we touched on this a little bit in the past as far as Pokemon goes. as far as Minecraft goes, the church has tended to speak down to things that are in the pop culture that distract you from focusing on God. Now, sometimes they'll say it's witchcraft. Sometimes they'll say it's
That's
because...
what this is particularly.
So, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously, because it's wizards and warlocks and stuff like that. And witches. Yeah, I don't want to leave out the witches. But it's funny because sometimes they'll put that onus on stuff that has nothing to do with witchcraft and wizardry, like Pokemon. Pokemon is, if anything, like scientific and about nature.
It promotes evolution.
Oh, yeah, that definitely. Yeah, that was a big touchstone.
Yeah, I think that's why, I don't know about the Catholic Church, but I mean other churches, I think the churches that don't believe in evolution, I think that's why they didn't like it.
Well, it was pushing evolution. It was conjuring spirits. Like, they always find a way to make an analogy for conjuring spirits. So
they had a little like Pokemon, and he wears the skull of his mother.
Right.
That's not good.
They always and the ghost Pokemon. Don't even get me started on like Gengar and all that shit. Yeah.
There's that one clown Pokemon. He's scary.
Well, we can agree on that. Mr. Mime is an abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. They even tried to like take down Beyonce at one point, which still fascinates me. Like, oh yeah, she's part of the Illuminati. Like oh my God, there's like this whole video series of how Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these other performers that were popular at the time are part of the Illuminati and working for the devil and trying to infiltrate pop culture in order to take down Christianity somehow.
Did you ever see the Monster Energy drink video that went around just a couple weeks ago? That lady was batshit. Oh my God.
I think you said that to
Twitter.
me.
I might have.
Yeah. That was nuts.
That was so nuts. Oh my gosh.
It's like, if you want to connect those dots, they're there for you. But I mean, it's crazy just to want to take away some kid's joy because they don't pay attention to you at the dinner table. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all built on the back of, okay, what I'm teaching them isn't strong enough to overpower this pop culture thing, so it must be a spirit. It must be the devil trying to distract them from the path that I'm showing them, which is the right path, instead of trying to do this thing with them. I mean, even now, they speak against Pokemon, and you look at things like Pokemon Go, which is encouraging, like, physical health and getting out into nature and exploring your environment.
And Harry Potter is dealing with friendship and love and family and the family you choose, and
at the very least literacy. It's encouraging kids to read these giant tomes, and find camaraderie and friendship in
every house in Harry Potter represents a good and bad parts of our humanity. There are great lessons there.
Yeah, and it does it all without religion, and I think that's kind of where this stems from. It's almost a jealousy. It's not
anti-religion though. I don't remember ever reading anything in it that felt like it was against any. It was just kind of like, this is another world. It's a world, a part of our world.
I would even say intentionally, she didn't bring up any type of religion in the books, and of course, folks, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think any religion came up in Harry Potter whatsoever.
Recall it here. Yeah, right. I think it was kind of, because you had, there've been either side of it. So Chronicles of Narnia was obviously very Christian, and then you had his Dark Materials series, which was I want to have an atheist version or version of that. And I don't remember anything in her. Now it's bugging me. Is there religion in Harry Potter?
Yeah, we're going to have to look into that. There's philosophy, obviously. I did a seminar with some folks over at DePaul a couple years ago regarding the Harry Potter world. In fact, I guess I should just tell folks now, I've been invited back to DePaul to participate in a conference about superheroes and, their role in pop culture and that sort of thing. So I'm excited about that. But, yeah, I mean, just the fact that so many people can find so much meaning in it, not worship it, but just find a way to look deeper inside themselves. It's interesting to me.
So this is just a quick questions and answers thing. Do they have religion? Do the wizards have a religion? It says the witches and wizards in Harry Potter may have their own religious beliefs, but if they do, J.K. Rowling is at pains through her people answering this her books to make sure that such a thing stays strictly private and do not impinge upon the story.
I love it.
So yeah, I think that's fun. Like there's room for that. There's room for others that want to explore, like other books want to really explore particular religions and whatnot. That's great too, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it being the same way, kind of apolitical. But I just find it hilarious of like, what year is it? Because I remember this happening when I was a kid, when those books first came out. They were banning them and being like, they're Satan, they're the occult, they're this, they're that. I'm like, you're just making kids want to read them more.
Right. I was going to say this is the second time I'm mentioning this today. It's the Streisand effect. The more that you tell people not to pay attention to something, the more they're going to want to find out about it.
Wait, what does that have to do with Streisand?
So the Streisand effect, Barbara Streisand had a picture of her home pop up on the internet long time ago.
Okay.
She made it a point to let folks know that she was not happy about that because she didn't want any photographic evidence of her home or where she's at, to keep, ravenous fans away. People shared the photo more.
Of course. Because she made it. Okay, that makes sense.
Because she made it a thing. So yeah, these news stories came out, and of course, some of these news stories featured the photo of her home. So because she made it a point to talk about it, it spread like wildfire. Same thing happened with Beyonce. Again with Beyonce. After her Super Bowl performance, I
remember that.
Unflattering pictures that people were posting around. Just, her mid-move or something like that.
Right.
And it was just a normal human being would make these faces and these poses. But her publicist apparently, or I think maybe that was a whole gag or something like that, that somebody on her team didn't want those pictures circulating, so it became a meme, and they would get passed around.
I didn't know the Streisand, or when you say the Streisand effect thing, it sounds familiar. So I must have heard it in the past, but I didn't remember it.
And here we are again, talking about Barbara Streisand's home.
Gosh, that old chestnut. We can make a whole series of episodes about Barbara Streisand.
Oh, yeah. That's another podcast. If you guys want that podcast, let us know. Because I don't really know anything about Barbara Streisand, to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know much about her.
Married to James Brolin. That's my info.
Is she Josh Brolin's mom?
No. He had...
Okay.
No. Okay. My cat just walked in the room and is sneezing frantically.
Oh, no.
It's hilarious. No, she's not. To my knowledge, I don't think so. I think she's the step parent. I think that was like a second marriage for both.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Kind of like how Kurt Russell is not what's her name? Goldie Hawn's daughter, Kate Hudson. And like he's not her father, but like kind of is. Like adopted. So they only had one biological child together. They've been together for years, but it's basically like an adopted parent.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Josh Brolin's mom is named Jane Cameron Agee.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that he wasn't. He's been married to Barbara Streisand for years, but like not their kid together.
Right.
So Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, they're same sort of situation, although they did have biologically one child together. And he's going to be in the new Falcon and
Winter Soldier
show, which we talked about. He looks just like his dad, but he's super blonde. It's weird. Like if you look at him and then you look at pictures of the Thing, like you're like, holy shit, it's like him reincarnated as a blonde. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
graphic novel challenge.
Graphic novel challenge. So, what you read this week, Lex?
I try to get into The Boys. I'm not really into the comic as much as the show, which you said would probably be the case. So I'm still on Why the Last Man. I'm getting ready to go into volume 2. So
cool.
And I'm enjoying it just as much as when I originally read it, and I don't remember much, so it makes me happy.
Well, I am reading Deadly Class by Rick Remender. and Wesley
I think
Craig.
I read that.
It's a TV show as well on Sci-Fi.
No,
at least
I
it
think
was.
I read the comic a couple years back.
Okay.
Not like all of it, but like a couple issues maybe.
I believe it's still. Oh no, it's been officially canceled. So
Wow. The show or the comic?
no, the show's been canceled. It was announced canceled June 24th, 2019. I was just trying to see. So there's one good season out with 10 episodes if you want to check that out.
Cool.
But yeah, it's an interesting book. I'm gonna read volume 2 before I make my final review of it.
How many volumes are there?
I think they're up to 8 now, or at least 8's
Shit.
about to come out. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been around for a while.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. It's an Image book, right?
It is. I believe it is, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Yeah. Image Comics.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Yeah, Image there's so much, I think there's a lot of room in that company to make beautiful things. I don't know. They seem to be doing it right. I've talked about this in the past with you. I don't know if I've talked about it on the show, but I think that their whole business model is genius. Like how cheap they make the first volume. It's usually $10. Like you can pick up an Image graphic novel to get started on a series. And then after that, it's usually like $15 per volume. It's much more reasonable. You know, everything else from Marvel and DC and these other companies are like, you know, $20+ per book. That's rough.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've been on this Ghostbusters kick lately too, as far as the comics go. And I've been, the Ghostbusters book crosses over with the TMNT book as well at some point. So I've been dipping a toe into the TMNT stuff as well. Problem is, IDW and their reprints, I have a hard time finding them. Like, I can see, I read the first 2 volumes on Comixology. That was no sweat whatsoever. However, they have these beautiful hardcovers that came out, 3 volumes collecting the Ghostbuster stories in chronological order, in the proper reading order. I wanted to find those to put them on my shelf.
You want to get them? They're super overpriced.
Super overpriced.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to IDW. They basically laughed at me. Image keeps stuff in print.
Yeah, they do.
Like I know, I think they learned their lesson from Walking Dead, because that first phone book sized omnibus they had, I know that was very hard to come across.
Yeah.
But since they had that shortage, I've seen it on the shelf like nonstop.
Yeah.
And not for lack of anyone wanting it either. It's just been available.
Yeah.
To people.
They do a great job.
Even on Comixology. On Comixology, the first volume of basically every single title they publish is available on Unlimited. So you can read it for free.
Yeah, and I don't even expect them to do that. I have much less of a problem with the graphic novels even being priced the exact same digital versus physical when you're pricing the physical copies so reasonably. So even if they were charging $10 for volume 1 of Saga, I would still say that's a hell of a deal, you know, for a digital copy. I mean, because I just think they give you a lot of bang for your buck, basically.
Definitely. So shout out to Image. They don't pay us, but if they want to give us some money, that's cool too.
Yeah. We just love the product. You can give us comics, you can give us money, whatever.
Comics, money. Yeah.
Both.
We're down. Cool. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, I read an actual book.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay.
Recursion by Blake Crouch. It's oh man. So you know how you hate that Groundhog Day type stuff?
Yeah.
This will destroy you. Like, it is seriously involved with some tricky storytelling regarding people. Okay, so basically the crux of the story is that, without giving away the important story beats, there's a method that people discover to travel back to revisit memories. But instead of just visiting the memory and seeing it clearly, you're actually going back to that point in your life and living your life from that point on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Except it does get to the point where there's a lot of like crossing over and, double crossing and all kind of interesting things. It's a very complicated book, but I made it, and I'm excited to tell you that I did enjoy it. and it's the second in a series. The first one escapes me right now, but Blake Crouch is the writer. He's also the guy that wrote Wayward Pines.
Oh yeah,
So,
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah,
I never saw the show or anything.
I think that's his like seminal work or his most popular work or whatever. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Oh, It's a sequel to a book called Dark Matter. That's right.
Oh, so you read it without knowing it was a sequel?
No. I read Dark Matter, but it's been a
okay.
while.
Gotcha.
So I forgot the name of the book in particular. Because that was like during the year that I was trying to read like tons of different novels just to kind of like increase my backlog. Because I realized in conversation with people, it sucks when folks are talking about books like, oh, have you read this? And it's like, no, I haven't. I don't really get a chance to read fiction like that. So
I give up on that because there's so many books and people have such specific things that they like that I don't really go, oh, I've read that, or I have, like, I'm just like, everyone.
Yeah, and I feel like, if someone is trying to tell you about a book that they really enjoyed, that's an opportunity for them to sell you on it and to kind of like get you on board with that excitement and not shame you for, not reading.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it got to a point where it was like, I was being told about all these great books and I didn't have anything to bring to the table. So I started like reaching out and doing my own research.
Gotcha. And
I found a couple of gems. I mean, that was the year that I read Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me for the first time. And I really enjoyed that. I don't think I've told anybody about that book that hasn't been moved by it.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations almost like the movie Precious where you are moved by it, but you don't really enjoy it. You don't want to say you enjoyed it, but it was well done. It was well produced. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it was very well done.
Yeah. So I recommend this book. Dark Matter's great. Wayward Pines is a trip too. If you've seen the show, it's nothing like the show. But I enjoy his work. He's good, Blake Crouch.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a quick little recommendation here because I just read about this and I think this is such a great idea and you can look into it yourself, and hopefully no one will ever need this, but unfortunately, the world we live in, sometimes you do. So you can keep this in mind if you need to look into it. So basically this woman who dealt with domestic violence, she was a survivor. She created an app. It's not an app you install, but it's like a cloud service online type of thing. And it, even when you go on the website, it has like a button you can quickly press and it'll take you to Google so that if someone, is looking at your phone or your computer, you can quickly get out of it and it's a escape. She's basically trying to help other victims of domestic violence to document everything that's happening along the way to help them bring charges in the future. So it's called Victim's Voice. And you can read more about it. A Mighty Girl, which is a great site. If you're on Facebook, you can follow them. They basically were talking about this app that was created and how it's going to help so many women who are unfortunately, and people in general who are in these situations, but statistically a lot of women. And I think it's such a great idea. They even have you can find ways to help pay for the service and everything like that, because there is a fee for the service, but you can donate to it. It's a whole thing. So I hope you never need it if you're listening, but it's always good to have resources. So it's called Victim's Voice. If you think you need it, you might need to look into it. Or if you know someone that is in a situation that you're unsure of, you can let them know about it. So I just think it's a great, I didn't want to bring down the show with it, but I just felt like I wanted to share. After I read it, I was like, this is a really great thing that someone's putting out into the world. And we don't always acknowledge that. So it's a really unfortunate subject. It's a really sad thing that happens. It's a thing we don't like to talk about, but it does happen. And there's someone out there who lived through it and is trying to help others get out of it. And that is inspiring. And, it's a great thing to have and to know about and to be able to tell others about.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Lex.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you said that's not usually how we operate, but I feel like that's kind of what our show is for as well.
Oh, yeah.
Share that sort
If
of information. So
yeah, if something comes up, like it's not like, oh, I don't feel like I can share it. I definitely feel like I do. Like, you know, we talk about heavy things and light things all the time, but it's just I was so impressed by, because I played around with the website and everything too. I was just looking into it and I was like, this is incredible what they've done to try to keep things safe and secure, and like so someone can't go through your phone and know that you were using it. And it's just a really well designed and well thought out, and things that I was thinking of. I'm like, okay, what about credit card bills? What about this and that? And like they have an answer for everything. And I was like, oh my God, they've lived through this, or the woman who created lived through this, and everyone's helping her live through it. And it broke my heart, but it also made me feel very hopeful and very good, knowing that there's someone out there who's looking out for people who are in difficult situations like that. And so it's a great thing you can read into, even if you're not like, you don't have the situation where you need it, or you don't know someone who needs it, or you don't think you know someone who needs it, whatever. Just look into it, because it's just a really impressive concept. I love seeing creation of technology for things that we need in our society to make the world a better place.
It's called A Mighty Girl.
No. A Mighty Girl is the website that wrote about it. It's called Victim's Voice.
I see. Okay. All right. So we'll put the links everywhere for people to check it out.
It's just Victim's Voice one thing. That's the website. So A Mighty Girl is who wrote the article. I was just saying I really like them. Like,
gotcha.
write about things. So yeah, it's victimsvoice.app. Like type it into your search if you Google or whatever, if you need to. And then they have like a quick escape button, so if you get in a situation where you need to close it, you know. I don't know why porn sites don't have that. That'd be a good idea.
Some do. Definitely.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah.
Yeah. Like, some websites, just to change it up a little bit. Some websites do have that, the boss is coming button or something like that. Not just porn sites, but like gaming sites and that sort of thing. I think, oh my God, what was that? EvilAvatar.com used to have something like that, I think.
That's funny.
Where it would just turn into a spreadsheet or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I remember a website doing that. I don't remember what website it was, though.
Yeah. So Evil Avatar was like a gaming website, but it was done like in a forum style by the fans. And Archie and I used to check that out all the time at work, but they imploded, and there was some type of like fissure between the editors, and it just got too drama mama, so we had to leave and go back to IGN like everybody else.
Yeah. It's hard to get outside of that.
Yeah. So
anyway,
hopefully
that's a resource that, like I said, hope you don't need it, but I just, at the very least, I wanted to, shine a light on a really great thing that someone's doing with tech and all this stuff. So, yeah.
Cool.
Well, this is a long one.
Yeah, but
Lord,
we talked about a lot of good stuff.
We did.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk about Robert Pattinson, but that's okay.
We can talk about that next week. It's not breaking news. It's just,
it's not going anywhere.
It was just him talking about putting on the bat suit and stuff, and I just like his outlook on things.
That's cool.
He seems like he's got his head on straight for it. Like, he's not super worried. He went through Twilight.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah, all right, it's not going to be as bad as that. He also pointed out something interesting. I guess we're kind of covering it, but
here we go.
He just quickly, he pointed out how paparazzi apparently is not as bad anymore because of Instagram.
Oh.
Celebrities have direct access to people, and people don't give a shit about paparazzi photos anymore. So they're not really buying them the way they used to, which I think is awesome.
That is kind of good, honestly, because you got people making their career on just taking pictures of you, and not by consent. You know, it's weird that the relation between celebrity and paparazzi is always strange. It's foreign to me. I've never been through it, obviously, but it's foreign to me in as much as there's certain levels of respect that the better ones have for celebrities versus like a TMZ. But I feel like that's even degraded because TMZ, you see video of them all the time getting in people's faces, asking them questions.
TMZ also does like really horrible, invasive, like when people die. I mean, I remember the stuff with Heath Ledger when he died. They were taking pictures of them bringing the body out and stuff, and I was like, this site is garbage.
That's trash.
Oh, no, I remember the worst one that I saw, I think was TMZ, but I could be wrong about this, was this actor, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. He did a couple of things. If you saw him, you'd probably recognize him. He was on the show The Tudors.
Yeah.
His mother died, and they took pictures of him weeping at her funeral and were posting them online. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? This is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. It was horrible.
So more recently, you know how I feel about Kevin Hart. I'm not a fan, but even I respect the fact that he deserves a certain level of privacy going through what he went through. He just got in a bad car accident, like a huge crash that basically has made him unable to walk at this point. And so they on the news this morning on I want to say ABC. There was a paparazzi that came up to his wife on her way into the hospital to ask how he was doing. And I mean, they were trying to be like hushed and respectful, but there's no way to be respectful while you're harassing a woman who obviously doesn't want to be bothered when she has on her dark sunglasses and is holding her Starbucks in one hand and another drink supposedly for her husband that she's going to see in the hospital. Like, that's just tacky. It's tacky and it's disrespectful. And I don't care who it is. They don't deserve that.
No, I completely agree.
He's not a politician. He's not anybody that's holding public office that's preventing people from getting their basic human rights.
Even then, there's decency. Like,
there's
that's not decent, you know?
Yeah, there's a line, but it's like even then you can understand like the passion of the people trying to make themselves heard to get government to perform their duties. I get that. There's a case that can be made for that. But harassing Kevin Hart's wife while she's going to visit. I saw some
shit in response to Kevin Hart's accident where it was like, well, he's a homophobe. He's this, he's that. I'm like, fuck off. That's such nonsense. I'm sorry. Right. Like, are you kidding me? Are you really that shitty of a person that you're like, but what about the... I'm like, come on, man. Be cool.
Right.
Would you want him, like, if let's say he was that homophobic, which he apologized for that. It was old jokes. It wasn't cool, but we just talked about aging things. Would you want someone to be like, well, they were gay, so who cares? Like, they got into this terrible car accident. No, because that's fucking terrible.
Right.
Like, I know it's not the exact same thing, but be cool. Like, be respectful. It's a human being. It's a person.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Which leads us into our catchphrase.
Be cool, you dickheads. Is that
That's our new slogan.
Everyone listening to this show is cool. That's the funny part. It's like,
y'all are cool. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Y'all ready for this?
Jock Jams 2019. Okay, I'm tired.
Now that's what I call.
Tired
I'm tired too. Can you tell?
Yeah. Let's hit it then. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you, patrons. You're awesome. You support us. Folks, if you want to be a patron, check out lexandmattpod.com. We got lots of stuff going on over there, as always. Thank you for joining us earlier to my lovely wife, Dolores Peters. And thank you guys for listening. I'm Matt Peters.
I'm Lex Lutz.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye.